Whenever Liberians talk about our war and this period of recovery from the war, oftentimes you hear people complain and blame the warlords who were actively involved. And while they bear some of the responsibility, I think oftentimes what happens is we ignore the role of our intellectuals, our scholars, in contributing to this problem. And what we have is a situation of some 30 years or so with one perspective, one point of view promoted by certain scholars that has kept us locked in a position where we've not been able to move forward. I think if we look at other African societies that have gone through conflicts, Rwanda, for example, or Ethiopia, we have seen them make great strides after those devastating wars. And in part, is because of the ideas that are guiding their recovery efforts. In our context, the ideas are very crippling. Imagine when you were in, say, 4th grade, if you had a teacher who came and insisted that he would only teach subtraction in a math class, in an arithmetic class. And then the next year, he would offer lessons only in division. In some ways, I think, even as a child, many of us would recognize that this was incomplete and we would have a problem. And as parents, certainly we would question a teacher who offers only a portion of the subject matter, where kids are not learning addition and multiplication. And that's the situation, the best way I can describe where Liberia is today. The perspective that has been promoted for about 30 years and continues to dominate our scholarship is one that emphasizes division, constant pitting of one group versus another. And it inhibits our ability to see the big picture and to collaborate and move forward. And it certainly was a problem for uncovering the research, the history of this region. When you pull back from looking at specific ethnic groups, for example, it's obvious to anyone who grew up in Liberia that there are many commonalities. Take the languages, for example, Kru, Bassa, Grebo, all the way to Kua, or those who we call Bela people. The languages are related. But it's not just the languages. When one looks at folk tales, for example, spider tales are prevalent from Senegal in the west all the way to Ghana, from Ghana all the way to the Caribbean. So there are deep commonalities in the culture and in linguistic commonalities as well that are there ignored by our current scholars. And my emphasis on those aspects is not to deny the particularities of ethnic cultures, but to simply recover the broad patterns. We need the patterns. We can't work with just the division without the addition, right? We can't just have the subtraction without the multiplication. And that's one reason I was able to do this book, because I was able to recover the big picture, the commonalities in the region.